What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie. Going to do a little deep dive into Pete Townshend's studio albums. Only going to do the sort of quote unquote 7 official ones. Not going to do the 3 that I think he did 3, dedicated to his spiritual guru, Meher Baba. Those were little exercises in spiritual devotion, had a whole bunch of other characters. He always has a whole bunch of other musicians on his albums. Almost all of these, or about half of them, or more than half, are like collaborations with other people. Musicals, concept albums. Yeah, we know, Pete Townshend. 7 of them. The connection with Frank Zappa is Pete Townshend used to be in this band called The Who. His drummer was in a movie called 200 Motels, and Frank Zappa did that movie. So there's one of probably other connections. But yeah, that's it. We're going to do 7. I'll go from 7 to 1. I'll put the list up when we're done, and that'll be it. So let's get on with number 7. And number 7 is his most recent, which is 1993. He's not done a solo album in 22 years as of this recording. 32 years as of this recording. My math is off. Psychoderelict. And there are moments on here that I'm like, all right, musically, this could work. But then there's dialogue and there's talking. This is a concept album about an aging rocker who his career is over, and then a critic maybe gets him involved, sets him up for some scandal, and sends him like pictures of, like, he gets in this like underage erotic photo type controversy, but then his songs go big and somebody else, I mean, it's a hot mess. There's way too much talking. At one point, one of the women who sends him like quote unquote erotic pictures is named Lily. He gets pictures of Lily. So he manages to drag in a really good song into this hot mess. There are some couple interesting tracks musically. He has Meher Baba M3, Meher Baba M4, Meher Baba M5, in which he incorporates some of the synth tracks that he used, I believe, for Baba O'Reilly, or just from that era. Those are pretty cool, but then he puts talking over them. There's a really cool song in which I believe this one of the women who is like framing him or blackmailing him or somehow involved in this, the stories I couldn't follow. I don't follow. She covers one of his songs, and it's a really cool, almost like 80s rock song, Pat Benatar, quarter flash type thing. But then it's just way too short. And then there's talking. There's just more talking. The talking on this absolutely drives me nuts. This is a hot mess of an album. Yeah. My number 7, his number 7, Psychoderelict. Number 6, my number 6 is his number 6, The Iron Man, a musical, or The Musical by Pete Townshend. Concept album into a musical. This features John Lee Hooker, who is kind of woefully underused, though his track I Eat Heavy Metal, which has a bluesier vibe and some of the grittier guitar on this album, is one of the highlights of what is a kind of a weak album. Nina Simone is on here and delivers what might be the low point of her career, a song called Fast Food, in which she plays a dragon. And yeah, it's bad. Roger Daltrey's on here. The Who are on here. They do 2 songs. One of them, they do a cover of Arthur Brown's Fire. Another Zappa connection right there. Fire! It's horrible. It sounds horrible. The production on it is horrible. It is just an oversaturated, way too much going on hot mess. Yeah, it's just kind of this is a rough album. There's one good song on here called A Friend is a Friend, which kind of a mid-tempo, low-key pop rock. This is all very adult pop rocky vibe. But it's just the opening I won't run anymore. kind of has some hope. It starts off with like some big Who sort of chords, but then we kind of go into this something that's not that interesting. Over the Top with John Lee Hooker, who just feels underused, has this low key, almost like Dire Straits vibe with some cool guitar in it. There's Dig. The Who does that with Daltrey, just an okay mid-tempo pop rocker. I believe the Who was actually doing this live, I think, on the tour right around here. This came out in 1989 on that 89 tour. Saw that at the Oakland Coliseum. Yeah, it's not a very good song. The last song, New Life, has a saxophone solo for some reason, has a reprise of an earlier song called All Shall Be Well. Yeah, this is a really kind of forgettable, unmemorable. It's based on a short story by someone named Ted Hughes. Maybe the story's good, but I don't think this doesn't compel me to want to go find it. So that would be my number 6, which means my number 5 is his number 5, White City, a novel. All right. We got more like we're high concept stuff going on with Pete. White City is apparently where he grew up. There were racial tensions there. This is sort of a documentation of that. There are some much better songs on this album than there are in the 2 I just talked about. The opening, Give Blood, has some really good over-the-top energy. It's kind of a nice mix of rock and synth, and it's kind of okay, kind of pretty good. The music is really good. I don't know if the song itself, like the lyrics themselves, I guess are kind of interesting, but a pretty good song. There's a song called Face to Face, which has a really kind of R&B adjacent sort of vibe, kind of a Eurythmics type, hyping the crowd up, having a good time. There's horns, there's harmonica. It's like a loud party mix kind of type thing. Lyrics are kind of it's all X the X, face the face. You got to drug the drug, or you pick a word and then say the word again is essentially the lyrics. There's a song called Secondhand Love, which is pretty good. Nice kind of cool piano driven mid-tempo thing. Got a really nice cool vibe in it. Crashing by Design is just some really weird sounding adult pop rock. No idea. It just blows my mind. I don't even know what it is. I Am Secure, okay. Just nothing really happens in a lot of these songs. It's just this almost like, it's just not very engaging. And there's every once in a while, there'll be like a good idea, or the song will start off someplace good, and then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere, or doesn't develop into anything interesting. I don't know if there's a story involved. I think it's a very loose concept, even though it is a novel. Maybe it's more a collection of short stories. I don't know. But yeah, it's underwhelming. It's kind of forgettable. It's not anything other than like Give Blood and Face to Face and Secondhand Love. There are 3 songs on the first half of the album, which are kind of compelling and kind of good, but I don't think they're good enough to lift sort of the rest of the stuff, because the rest of the stuff is just kind of, I think, kind of eh. So yeah, I mean, some of it's pleasant. It's not offensive. But yeah, that would be my number 5, his number 5, White City, a novel. My number 4 is his number 4, All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes. Wins the award for worst album title and arguably one of the worst covers. This is feels like a densely personal adult rock outing. There's a handful of really good songs. I think my all-time favorite, Pete Townshend song, Slit Skirts, which is the last song on the album. I think that's his best song, sort of about getting old in a marriage and still like wanting to get out, but Jeannie never wears those slit skirts. Just great song, great piano. Face Dances Part 2, there was a music video for this. If you were growing up watching MTV in 1982, you saw that video a lot. I think it's a nice playful song, sort of about marital strife, I'm assuming. But musically, it's really fun. It's the one thing that's kind of lacking on this album is more songs like Face Dances Part 2, which just have a really cool vibe about them. The opening Stop Hurting People has this long spoken word part, very adult rocky. Kind of shouldn't work, but the music kind of sells it. It feels like the intro to a concept album, and maybe this is a concept album, just like all the sort of problems with being an adult and romance and all that kind of stuff and what it's like to get old. But Stop Hurting People is kind of a cool intro. The Sea Refuses No River is this really nice sort of gentle adult rock that goes into this bigger pop rock. Some Stevie Wonder harmonica seeps in that's kind of good. This is another one that's just about life struggles. The instrumental part in the middle is pretty cool. Prelude is this short little piano ballad with strings and orchestra. Face Dances is an awesome song. Exquisitely Bored has some pretty cool, like low-key bass, some low-key guitar. But then again, we go into this bigger sound. I don't think the bigger sounds always work. Sometimes that slow burn-in, low-key stuff is better. It's about being bored in California. If you're from Southern California, the name drops a lot of cool places. So there's that. But it's kind of a rich person gripe, kind of a white people problems type thing. Communication, just this really frantic, upbeat, skittish rocker that I'm not sure really works. Yeah, more talking in there. Stardom in Action. I think he wants a hit of that Stardom. This is about, this is a slowly developing rocker that kind of a little more laid back. Uniform Corps d'Esprit, bouncy pop rock, What You Wear kind of defines who you are. Maybe a character from Quadrophenia maybe could be singing this thing. A cover of the traditional North Country Girl, which is just a no. The energy he brings to this just kind of doesn't work. It's like an upbeat poppy take. Then we get Somebody Save Me, which is about refusing the advances of maybe a groupie and then being better for it, I guess. I don't know. I think The Who did this song, right? Did they do that song? I think they did that song, and but they just didn't release it. I think it was released as a bonus track on like Face Dances, right? Maybe, yeah, I think so. Anyways, it's not a horrible album. There's some good stuff on it, I think overall it kind of works. It's not the strongest, but of his 7, you have 3 that are great, which I'm going to talk about. 3 that are not, and this one's just kind of right there in the middle. Has some really great moments, but we're definitely on the slide towards not as many interesting moments. But that's my number 4. All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes. His number 4. My number 2 and my number 3 are his first and second albums. My number 3 is his second album. My number 2 is his first album. I put these together because they both heavily feature Ronnie Lane of the Faces and Small Faces. He sings songs, he writes songs, he contributes. Pretty much almost feels like a collaboration, even though these are Pete Townshend albums. And they both have just one, they both came out in the early 70s. Who Came First was 72. I think Rough Mix was 73 or 74. They're both just these, what makes the 70s so incredible from a musical standpoint is just sort of the eclectic nature of albums and just sort of the, I'm just going to do these things and he's going to sing a song on my album and we're going to do this acoustic stuff. Then we're going to do this weird New Orleans kind of Dixie stuff and we're going to be all over the map. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like we're all over the map because it all kind of feels like it's coming from one single artistic sort of different modes of a singular artist's expression. I'm messing that up, but you know what I'm saying? They all feel like they're coming from Pete Townshend and Ronnie Lane. They're just having fun doing lots of different things. I just think the first one is a little more eclectic and those maybe a little more fun than Rough Mix, but they're both really strong, really good albums. Rough Mix opens up with this awesome sort of rocker with this catchy melody, some really nice, interesting guitar lines called My Baby Gives It Away. Reminds me of Shortening Bread, which I've been listening to a lot lately because it keeps popping up in stories about Brian Wilson. Rest in peace, sir. Nowhere to Run, a nice acoustic laid-back Ronnie Lane song with some banjo. We get the awesome Rough Mix, the title track, this really nice guitar riff. It's like this driving rocker instrumental with great solo, great organ work, nice bass groove in the middle. Just absolutely great. The bass groove reminds me of Moe's George. Great, great driving bass. We get Ronnie Lane's absolutely beautiful Annie, Keep Me Turning, this poppy rock song. Someone named Jack keeps getting mentioned in these songs. Don't know who Jack is. Cat Melody, which has this upbeat, jazzy, almost like New Orleans bounce to it. Misunderstood, some low-key Townsend pop rock. We got some harmonica in there, some nice acoustic guitar, some weird percussion, kind of playful. This is about somebody who wants to be misunderstood. They're not, but they want to be that person. Another Ronnie Lane sort of acoustic love song in April Fool, Street in the City, some nice big, like, this is about kind of watching what life in the city is like, kind of one of those observational tracks. Just nice acoustic guitar, some strings, some voice, mood, really nice moody piece that works really well. Nice instrumental section that the guitar's just kind of going off on. Hard to Hang On To, which has this awesome arpeggiated riff that just opens it up. That's absolutely fantastic. Then we goes into this really cool chill vibe. This is one of those where like a lot of these songs will like switch up, you know, we'll get an intro and we'll go into something different. That opening arpeggiated riff, this is one of those instances. I just wish that riff was just dominating the whole song. Unfortunately, they kind of switch it up a little. And then Tell the Rivers All Run Dry, a traditional folk song, closes out. Really strong album. Ronnie Lane's contributions are amazing. They balance really well with Pete's slightly harder rocking stuff. And then my number 2 is his debut album, Who Came First. There's Pure and Easy is on here, which probably many of us know from The Who. Such a phenomenal song. So many of these songs are like little mini epics. They're only like 5.5 minutes long. But Townshend drops so many different melodic pockets through there. There'll be like a verse with one melody, a chorus has a different melody. Then we get this bridge. Then we get some weird little section. Then we bring it down so Pete can like drop his like prettier singing. All of these songs are just, or most of these songs are just these really fantastic little 5-minute journeys. Pure and Easy, amazing song. Evolution, a Ronnie Lane song that really fun, has some nice folky vibes in it. What is that? Forever's No Time at All. What is that? Somebody else sings this. Billy Nichols sings this. Yeah, great vibes, some really low-key groove on the bass. Just kind of a nice, loose, jammy pop rock type song. Let's See Action, which we probably all know from The Who. Nice bouncy rock vibe. Time Is Passing is on here. Nice, good pop rock song. There's a Heartache Following Me. Really good, slightly country vibe. I think there's even some Wurlitzer in there, some little organ in there. The awesome, amazing Sheraton Gibson, little mainly acoustic Pete Townshend type song about being stuck in Cleveland, and, you know, at the Sheraton Gibson. Content, which is about being content. And then the closing Parvardigar, which has this really nice kind of builds and builds and builds. It's sort of, I think it uses lyrics to a Meher Baba like chant or an oath or a prayer. But it's a really nice kind of slowly building, kind of trippy song that works really well. The album kind of reminds me of like a junk drawer where you like, it's Pete Townshend's musical junk drawer back in 1972, where you like open it up. It's like, oh, look at all these different things I've collected. Let's put them all on an album. That's the vibe, it feels like. And it's a good vibe. It's a fun vibe. You got the 3 Lifehouse songs. You got a couple Ronnie Lane songs. It's got Billy Nichols sing something. Yeah, it's a really eclectic, fun, early 70s mix. That is my number 2, his number 1, Who Came First. And my number 1 is his number 3, Empty Glass. This is his, I think, everything he wants to do as far as pop rock and adult themes and dealing with his personal life. And, you know, all of that just comes together in this perfect little pop rock album. Great use of synthesizers throughout it. You kind of see the direction that he's going for the next album, where these little more sort of adult contemporary rock themes, but there's still like this energy and this vitality and this like young man drive in here that propels a lot of these songs. Opens up with Rough Boys, which is just this awesome upbeat rocker. We drop into this slower middle section where he gets a chance to like show off his singing skills. It's got a nice feisty groove. Some synth work comes in at the end, which at first seems a little obtrusive, but then because he just commits to it, it kind of works. Apparently Daltrey wanted to do this with The Who because he thought it would be a good Who song, but he wanted to change the lyrics, I believe, because there's a line at the end where he sort of, Townsend acknowledges that maybe he's sexually attracted to these Rough Boys, and he was like, Daltrey would never sing that line, so that wasn't going to work. So I think it's kind of funny. Next song is called I'm an Animal, which just has this great low-key instrumentation, probably like this more leaning into that adult rock type vibe, but it's got bouncy energy, soft at times. Seems like a very personal song about Pete. The phenomenal And I Moved, which is just great. Nice piano synth rock sound, almost flirting with an Alan Parsons vibe. Almost has a War on Drugs feel with its sort of just like gentle, loose, jammy flow. The piano is amazing. Musically, just one of the most amazing things Pete's done. Probably my second favorite Pete song after Slit Skirts. The great synth pop classic, Let My Love Open the Door. Another video that got some play. I think this song got some video. Was there a video for this? Or maybe I'm mistaking this with Face Dances. Just a great synth pop song. Absolutely fantastic. The two weakest songs on the album come next. Jules and Jim, which is kind of a nice, angry tirade, upbeat rocker. There's a Keith Moon reference in here. Keep On Working, which is kind of a breezy, almost Kinksian in the verses. Little Kinks energy. But there's this repetition of keep on working that I don't really like. But the song kind of works. I just don't like the keep on working part. And then the last four songs, absolutely amazing. Cats in the Cupboard, high energy rocker, some nice bluesy harmonica, great momentum, great urgency. A Little Is Enough, kind of a nice synth rock vibe, kind of flirting with hey, if Let My Love Open the Door isn't a hit, maybe this one can be a hit. But it works. Really cool instrumental section in the middle. A lot of interesting rhythms going on at the end of this. The title track is absolutely amazing. Just nice, tight rocker with some great bass. Pete's just venting. It kind of feels like another little mini epic, like kind of the stuff on his first album, just because there's so many different little parts throughout the song that by the end of it, you feel like it feels longer than it is, but in a good way, not because you're bored, but just because so much stuff happens. He's kind of angry, but then there's also moments of sort of like wistfulness in this that are kind of cool. And then it closes out with Gonna Get You, which is like just very Who-ass Quadrophenia era, big rock energy, great guitar in here, some cool piano playing, kind of a nice stretched out jammy vibe with some great bass playing. I just think from start to finish, this is like his best album. I just feel like it's his most like focused and accomplished. And if you want to like know Pete Townshend as a solo artist, to me, this is the one. Empty Glass, my number one from 1980. That's what they look like in typewritten form. I clearly think you could divide these into three sections. The top three are probably S tier albums. I think those are really fantastic, fun listens. Number 4 maybe drops down to a high B tier. It's got a couple, I think Slit Skirts is his best track ever. It's the last track on that album. I think there's another couple really good songs. It's a little more hit and miss, but the misses are not as egregious as the stuff in the bottom three. Bottom three are all driven by high concepts. I don't think the concepts work. White City has 3 pretty good songs that all got some radio play and MTV play. And so maybe it's just because I know them so well, I like them. But then the bottom 2 just get bogged down by like his ambitions and a little too pretentious and just too much going on. And let's just keep it simple, Pete. Let's just keep it simple. We know you can rock out. Let's just keep it simple. But all right, that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts on these albums. If you check them out, if you check out Pete, if I messed anything up, things I should know more about, all that kind of stuff. You know how comments work, people. So do what you do. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Peace. Talk to you later.